Have you ever experienced something strange that made you question reality? Maybe a bizarre coincidence, an impossible prediction that came true, or even a glimpse into a parallel world. On this podcast, I'm going to be diving deep into these stories of the inexplicable and unexplained tales that many refer to as a glitch in the matrix. On each episode, I will be bringing you first-hand accounts of these real-life glitches where people have seen, heard, or even felt something that seemed to defy the laws of our universe. Now, are these stories real? That's for you to decide here on Glitches in the Matrix. My friend was at my flat, but disappeared halfway through by Reddit user Binary Inc. I had a friend over last night. We had ran into each other earlier in the day and we had made plans for dinner. So she comes over, hangs out on the couch, we chit-chat and whatnot for a bit. And then I get a phone call, so I stand up and I take the phone call in my bedroom, and it's about a 15-minute call. I go back out to the living room and she's not there anymore. And I was like, okay, maybe she's in the bathroom. So I sit on the couch and wait for her to come out, but she never does. So I go to check on her, and guess what? The bathroom's empty. And now I'm kind of weirded out. Like, did she leave for no reason? I didn't hear the door open or close, and I have a pretty heavy door that's kind of loud. So I even walked outside into the hallway to check if she was out there for some reason. But no, she just promptly disappeared. So now I'm thinking to myself, what'd I do to make her mad? So I gave her a call, and it rings a while, and she picks it up. And immediately, I am thinking to myself, this is kind of weird. There's no loud noises or street noises or anything like that. And it's actually pretty quiet. And it kind of sounded like I just woke her up. So I asked her, I was like, hey, why'd you leave my flat? And she had no idea what I was talking about. And to be honest, I got a little frustrated. And I asked her, where are you? And she said, I'm at home napping. Your phone call woke me up. And I could hear the rustling of the sheets. And I thought to myself again, there's no way that your side of the phone call could be so quiet. I mean, you just left my flat. I live in a busy area. So I asked her if we could do a video chat, and she agreed. And there she was, at home, in her bed, no makeup on, in her PJs, looking confused, and her eyes were even still kind of puffy from being asleep. I asked her, do you remember coming over to my flat? And she got really confused, and she said, did we make plans today? And then she said that after running into me, all we did was chat and say goodbye, and then she went home to take a nap. And obviously, there's no way she could go home, remove her makeup, undo her hair, change into her PJs, and make it actually look like she was asleep, all in 15 minutes when she lives a half an hour away. My client's house disappeared by Reddit user Pixie Yogi. I do dog boarding and dog sitting, and I was getting ready to drive to a client's house for the 4th time in 2 days. It's near my neighborhood, so I'm not super unfamiliar with the area. And by the way, at this time, I wasn't under the influence of anything, and I wasn't tired at all. The house I was going to was on Portobello Road, and it was number 53. So I have my GPS on, and it tells me to turn down the street, so I verify with the street sign that I'm on the right road. I've been looking for the wreath on the door because that's what I've been using to identify the house, and I don't see it. I turn around and I roll down my window and I start looking at the house numbers. I see 49, 57, but there's no 53. And I couldn't have missed it because all the houses are right next to each other. And I made sure I looked really carefully at the house signs. I turned around and I drove back by again. And once again, 57, 49, but no 53. So at this point, I get a little shaken. I look around and I distinctly remember seeing the same shrubbery on the house across the street the last time I was here, so I know I'm in the right neighborhood. And I drive back by and still there's no 53. I leave the neighborhood and I go back to the main street. I turn around and I drive back down Portobello. And as I'm driving down, I see 57 and 53 right there, plain as day. I called my best friend because, to be honest, I'm a little too shaken to do this by myself today. She talks me through the whole 30-minute visit, and as I'm leaving, there's a huge, white, wolf-looking dog that is staring at me from the end of the walkway. My brain starts to panic. Then a guy comes into view, and I see a leash, and he's walking the dog, just letting it wander a little too far into the yard. As I'm driving home, I get a text from the homeowner, and she said it showed me on her Ring camera when I left, but not when I arrived. Man, what the cinnamon toast crunch is going on? If you've had something strange happen to you, we'd like to hear about it. You can visit our website at paranormalitymag.com. That's paranormalitymag.com and share your story with us. Once again, that's paranormalitymag.com. My Old Friend Doesn't Exist by Reddit user Sunflower Monarch. So I've been stewing about this for a couple weeks now. Recently, I had a random thought about an old friend that I hadn't seen since graduation. We went to different high schools, but we had a lot of mutual friends and we spent a fair amount of time together. So when I went to look him up on social media, I couldn't find a trace of him. I mean, it's odd, but not alarming. I found his dad and his sister, but neither of their profiles mentioned anything about him, even when they talked about family in their posts. So I reached out to a mutual friend of ours who went to his high school, and I asked her if she'd heard anything over the years. And she had no clue who I was talking about, so I showed her a picture of the three of us at a concert. And she still didn't recognize him. They even graduated in the same class. So I went and found their senior yearbook online and looked him up. He wasn't in it, anywhere. He was a varsity athlete, had a ton of friends. I have plenty of pictures of him. He was at my graduation as a spectator, and no one remembers him but me. It seems like he doesn't even exist to his own family. I don't get how a whole person can just get wiped out from existence. It's kind of freaking me out. Thank you for listening to Glitches in the Matrix, presented by Paranormality Magazine, your number one source for anything strange and unusual. Visit our website at paranormalitymag.com. And until next time, the world isn't always what it seems.